Welcome back, YouTubers, to my channel of an everyday life of an Aspie. If you're following me right now, I'm AspieAnswersAll, or Aspie for short, for the newbies that has come on my channel for whatever reason it may be today to come on and view my channel. I'm just hoping with what I share with you, albeit mental health awareness and just everyday topics, that hopefully that you'll come and find something that is of value and maybe use to you or maybe some others, as I'm sharing my journey with my life stories as well as my life experiences along the way. So without further ado, basically, like, guys, also to the ones that are the oldies, I don't mean to classify you guys as newbies and oldies, I humbly apologise, but that's what I'm going to call you. Basically, thanks for your support so far, your comments and whatever. You've been so loyal to me. Words can't express how much it means to me right now, despite my everyday challenges I face. Like I said so many times before, that hopefully that it will come to, realisation that regardless of what I suffer, that hopefully, I can just be real and transparent enough for you guys to see what my life is all about, hopefully. But like, I'm trying not to be too fearful about what may be around the corner of what I have to share with you all, regardless what I feel on my heart at that time to share. So without further ado, guys, if you've been following me or just new right now, I've been just give you the lowdown. I've been just sharing basically what's been going on with my book journey. This is basically also my journal series of what I've written from my journal excerpts that I wanted to share with you all as a message of hope or encouragement to you all, hopefully, to these everyday struggles that we go through, regardless what it may be. Also, another few bits and pieces along the way I did just before I begin my next topic is basically, if you can recall, is basically something about the toxic people, getting rid of them in your life, be it whoever it may be, family, friend, member, whatever. I touched briefly about the signs of, what to spot, of people that are toxic to you, but then again, we know that sometimes it's not always true. So this video is going to be for someone that has popped on my channel that challenged me the question, what if I was the toxic person? So I'm going to try and be honest and transparent and real right now to what I want to share as promised to this Coolio. As Coolio, if he's watching, thanks for actually giving me a heads up, even though I know that you would love to hear my opinion on it or my thoughts, whatever, because we know we are entitled for our own opinions and thoughts, what have you, so I'm respecting everybody's differences of opinion versus whatever. Even though now I know that in the past, when I first started this channel, basically it was really hard, especially when it came to the point when certain personal things were flying on the comments that shouldn't have been there, basically. But then again, everybody's entitled to have their say one way or another, but then again, some things needs to be just left alone, hopefully, as I know. So let's begin of that question. Okay, this is going to be called check yourself. Are you a toxic person? So this is going to be addressed for me as well as probably for others around you, just to be honest and frank about this food for thought. Okay, so let's be honest and real, and hopefully this won't offend anybody, including myself, but it needs to be said and done for a reality check, obviously, for some things that I share, regardless what it may be, so this one will be a reality check of what I'm going to share with you, especially from Coolio, who came on my channel and commented on this. Okay, as we know, we all love to lament about people who are toxic in our lives, or just toxic people in general, whoever it may be that comes across, basically, be it if it's sitting in the midst of our friends, family, co-workers and the like. But we never know sometimes in the reality. We know for a fact, though, in general, I believe that the internet has blown it up to proportion about certain, everyday articles we see about, it can be overnight, it can be just straight few milliseconds of the day about, toxic people. Okay, all the titles such as, how to tell if someone's toxic, how to tell if basically if we need to deserve ourselves to drop that toxic friend or the like, 10 signs of a relationship that we're in is very steering into the relationship of being toxic territory and the like. Here's a example, obviously, of my ones, the toxic friend or goodbye toxic friend, as I'm sharing if you've been following it through by through. But let's be real here. Until recently, okay, we didn't have a word for the relationships that were not as abusive, hearsay or per se. But there are, in some form or another, bad for us. I'll admit, it can be limiting, unhealthy, otherwise the lack of health is so pure and innocent. This is often the case in toxic relationships, as I said. Oftentimes the person we perceive to be toxic, okay, isn't deliberately manipulative, controlling, cruel, nasty, or all those labels. They aren't trying to make our lives miserable. Maybe they're trying to open up to us about seeing it from their side, that maybe we are the toxic person. Let's be real and frank. I was once upon a time that toxic, but I've decided that before, you know, anything else, that everyday choices, like I said so many times before, starts with us, ends with us. I thought at the time, while being maybe on a certain level of being toxic, that, you know, let's be real, I felt dirty and disgusting inside, and I thought to myself, why was I doing this? I didn't want to tear people down. It made me feel yucky, and I'm sure as hell it would have made the others like yucky, and at the end result you end up losing not just your friends, you lose everything in general. Okay, they are these people that are probably, you know, we perceive as toxic, also aren't trying to make our lives miserable, as I said, aren't attempting to tear us down. They are just aren't the ones we need, what we need to be healthy in the relationship to become toxic as a result. Okay, also, as I said before to Coolio, basically, if I was the toxic person, I'll take a step back, even though I know for a fact, basically in my everyday life, even hard as it is with me, with my Asperger's syndrome and the like, basically, try not to play the pity party, you know, feel sorry for me and whatever else. Many people may think I'm doing this for pity, you know, for what I'm sharing with my life stories with Asperger's syndrome, depression, OCD and the like. That's their call, they want to say that or think it, you know, that's fine. But I know for a fact that I am actually forever grateful that despite what I know now, that I am becoming a better person. I believe anyway. This is just my thoughts here. I believe I am. I may come out cruel, harsh, and sometimes, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Outspoken. But then again, you know, many people tend to obviously take me the wrong way, regardless of, like I said so many times, that many people see it as it's not what I say, it's how I say it across to people. Yes, I have my everyday struggles, I still do. I'll admit that I'm, you know, put my hands up, you know, I'm guilty as charged. People can, you know, throw darts at me, whatever the case may be, you know, but then again, you know, you're entitled to have your say, I'm entitled to have my say, and vice versa, you know, think what we want, you know, and do what we want at the end of the day. But then again, I believe that we have to compromise a little too heavily to make things work with a toxic person, okay? Once upon a time, as I said, I was a toxic person. I started beginning to work on myself before I decided to actually support others, making sure I was in check, needed to forgive myself, and, you know, forgive others that I thought were giving me a hard time, but in reality, you know, as push comes to shove, I felt that, you know, sometimes I needed to be left alone so that I can grow in myself and learn about myself a bit more before anything else happened. Like anybody, it's all about self-discovery, who we are and what we are. Sometimes I feel also we have to extend ourselves a little too far for the existence of theirs. When combined in our own existence, putting a strain on the way we live our lives is not a pretty picture, or not in the picture that we had planned and hoped, however. This is the reality of so many toxic relationships, but whatever, for both parties though. That means well. But then the end result is nonetheless poisonous and harmful for us, and actually ruins our health. Sometimes, to be real, if we were the toxic person, we tend to perceive that others around us are the toxic people. But then again, we've got to understand that we are all human at the end of the day. We all make mistakes. We all, you know, have our regrets and everything else. You know, I try to not to live in that day of age now, to live in that stage of regrets and whatever else it may be. You know, it does hurt the core sometimes in that reality world of ours, but, you know, everybody's trying to tell me, Karen, you can't live in a fantasy world where, you know, it's going to be smelling like roses all the time and, you know, real good. But then, you know, it's just me, you know, trying to be all positive as much as I can. Sometimes we feel like now and again we want to perceive these toxic people, including ourselves, maybe as monsters, trying to tear us down and make our lives a living hell, and just reached at all costs. You know, they are the parent who is forcing us into activities we hate because they obviously want us to be humiliated, not because they are misinformed, but what might challenge us. They are the partner who refuses to compromise because they think they are more important than we are, not because they genuinely don't understand what we need at that time. They are the friend who always steals the spotlight because it wants us to feel small in comparison to them, but because they're naturally energized by social situations, obviously. But then again, we are obviously slapped on the forehead with that label mentality of toxic, especially on people, without ever considering their side of the equation of what actually matters and where their actions are deliberate or they truly just don't understand our side of things when we try to address it or share it with what's on our mind. It's this us versus them mentality, maybe forcing a permanent rift in the way we perceive toxic people. However, we decide that because our intentions are good, we could never be toxic to anyone. But however, as I said, we are all human. We once all, may have that toxicity in us somehow. This is how the cycle may perpetuate or show. But here's the truth, or because this is the truth, chances are at some point, one way or another, you have been toxic to someone, and I'll admit, hands up, hands down, what have you, I was one of them, as I shared before. You may not have realised it, you may not have registered it, but at some point in some time in our lives, someone probably strained a little too hard to make a relationship work with you. They probably took a few blows to their self-esteem, measuring themselves up to you. They probably went out on a limb to support you and ended up cracking under the pressure. Hence, now since believing that I've made that change, turn that leaf, that, try to hope for the best for everybody regardless of where they're at, sort of thing. Sometimes, like I said, can forgive the person but not return back to that same person. However, like I said in one of my videos about, certain relationships, not to return there, and if that same cycle repeats, carrying that same baggage, what's the point, These things happen readily and regularly, often without us even noticing it. We don't even want to claim the label of toxic because we would have behaved differently had we have known both sides of the coin or the story, however. But this isn't always true for most of the toxic people. Very few people would approach to life with deliberate ill intent. Very few people make it a goal to make their loved ones miserable. Very few people deliberately set out wreak havoc within their personal relationships, and yet so many of us do it anyway. So let's be real here. I know for a fact that, I might be looking at the minority versus the majority or what have you, but it's just weighing up and balancing up what's real and what's not, sort of thing. That's how I look at it. We let each other down, we fail to see the bigger picture. We prioritize things as XYZ, not realizing that our friends or partners, loved ones, prioritize them as YZX, vice versa. Now a relationship spirals into toxic territory without us even realizing it. So this is my wake-up call to all of us, or to my call of jurisdiction or justice, or whatever you want me to call it, to wake up to the reality that we are all toxic at some point in our lives, including me. As I said, none of us are perfect. Having good intentions doesn't always rid us for those toxic results, because the sooner we realise this, the sooner we can end these cycles of toxicity instead of endlessly pointing fingers at each other, pointing blame at each other and thinking that, they're the problem when we should know that sometimes it can be us the problem. The truth is though, in reality, we can, or myself, love someone with 100% of our whole heart and still be toxic to them. What I mean here is you can care for them and still be toxic. You want the best for them, however, so badly that it tears you apart, it still has a negative impact on their life, their self-purpose of your two elements, combined to form an inexplicably toxic reaction. Excuse my term. Neither of you are to blame, however, but the result may sure as well will be. One of the hardest lessons we may ever learn is that sometimes the best way to love someone we love is from a distance. However, I'm trying to love someone from a distance that I really love and care about, regardless of what it may be. That no matter how much we want them to thrive and expand and be happy, we will never be the people who facilitate to that expansion or equation. But that's sure as hell okay. A lot of toxicity is accidental, a lot of it can be innocent. A lot of it can be approached with generally positive intentions, however. But my comment here to end this is, as so, we need to learn to forgive ourselves for the toxicity we didn't mean to cause to ourselves and others around us. We need to learn to forgive each other for it too, regardless of it all, accept each other's differences and whatnot. In the end of the day, we just don't want to be the right fit for everybody. As we know, basically we can't choose to please everybody. It's hard to please everybody. It can be tiring. We need just to know what our purpose and reason is in life. We know for a fact that not everybody will be our best fit for us or the right fit. So we need to accept that and set aside our differences. We need to take the space and liberty of that space when we need it, basically to self-discover, self-learn, self-teach ourselves, basically. Learn to love each other from afar if the need arises, basically. So that hopefully, maybe in due time, if that happens, we can obviously grow together in a way that's, will be understandable. Well, basically that ends for the checkpoint of, if we're toxic or not, basically. Give me the thumbs up for support, basically. Feel free to share the videos around so that everybody can, engage with me, as well as hopefully we can engage with each other. So no further ado, guys, thanks for watching, thanks for the support. Do what you love what you do, share the videos around, basically. Give me the likes of comments, the drill. So until next time, guys, I'll see you again soon.